Okay, every morning you should take a good look at your belt tension, your chain tension, the condition that those things are in. Obviously, sometimes you might need to replace them, or you'll see on this combine, I've got a really good example of a belt that's not in great shape, but it could go a long time. So I don't replace it, but I do have one in stock in case it goes down, so I don't have much downtime. So there's chains. Let's see on this side over here. So we've got a belt tensioner here and a belt tensioner here. Now, New Holland does a pretty cool thing on their belt and chain tensioners. Right here is this rod. So you tighten this down until the spring is the same length as the indicator. If this thing happens to be way up here, then you know your spring is too loose and your belt is going to be too loose. If it's way down here, you know you're too tight and you could stand the chance of breaking a belt or something like that. Some of the chains, so you'll check your sprockets. Pull right up in here. So the teeth on the sprocket, you want to watch those. If they start to get rounded out or further apart, that's a really good indication that your chain is starting to stretch. And when your chain starts to stretch, it'll take out your sprockets. It's way cheaper to get the chain replaced right away. And if you keep good chain on, your sprockets, outside of some other malfunction, your sprockets will continue to go and go and go. You just won't have much trouble. Keep your chains tight. You should be able to have, depending on where it is, this one's a big chain, it's an 80 chain, so we keep it pretty tight. And this one here is just a self-adjuster. You can stick a bar underneath there and just hold it up, holding nice tension against it, not real hard. Just make sure that you don't have a whole bunch of slack in it, and that should help you make it work really good. So all of the belts on this combine pretty much use this kind of tensioner. You can see here, this one right here is a good indicator it's too loose. It needs to be tightened up some.
Now, Michael, how, just to verify, it's too loose because your guide is right here.
Yep. So this indicates the length that the spring should be. As you can see, the spring right here is even with the top of that. The spring right here, the spring's longer than the indicator. So we need to tighten that down until it's back even with the indicator. And again, to reiterate, this right here is a bushing grease joint. So therefore we can squirt the grease out of it a little bit. It's going to be okay. Just don't do it so much you slopping it on your belt. On the other hand, this is a slip clutch. Be really careful. You over grease this slip clutch and you will have a nightmare, because you're going to have to pull it all apart and get the grease out of there, because it'll start slipping on you. So you want to be really careful. This is a 200-hour greaser. Be careful. You just want enough grease to keep it from rusting. Outside of that, you really don't need the grease, because it doesn't, unless you have a problem, it doesn't ratchet or anything, so it doesn't use the grease. If you have a bunch of times that you plugged your feeder house or whatever you're driving and that thing ratchets, then you want to probably put some grease in there before 200 hours, because it's been used. But otherwise, just a little bit of grease to keep it from rusting and you should be in good shape. So right here again, we got a huge chain. Look at the teeth on the sprocket, make sure they're looking really good. These are looking really nice. And then our indicator again, you can see the chain tension. Some of the chains, they do a nice tensioner, and especially when you've got this much chain, keep an eye on that. This chain will stretch a fair bit during the season, and if it gets too much stretch, it'll start to hurt the sprockets, so you got to get your chain replaced. Again, we got more tensioners. We're going to look at all these tensioners. This one here, a little bit too loose yet. We'll tighten that one up a little bit more. Belts, check the belts. Right up there, you can see there's a little piece missing out of that belt. I have another belt in stock, so I'm ready and waiting if that belt breaks. I'm not going to replace that belt right now because there's a good chance that belt might go all season. It is amazing how long they'll go. What happened there is somebody plugged the machine and got it hot right in that section, and so you got a couple of chunks missing out of it. Otherwise, the back of the belt's in really good shape yet, and so it will still pull really hard. But it's something I need to keep an eye on every day. If I start to see that thing degrading, I'll just pull it off and put a new belt on. If it's looking the same every day, I'll just leave it at that. More belts. Tensioners under here. Then right here, you've got your main rotor belt. That belt, you want to kind of take your thumbnail and feel it. After you've done it a few times, you can see this one's pretty hard. If they start getting too hard, they'll start slipping. So you want to watch that belt right there. You don't really want that. That's one of the belts you do not want to take too much of a chance on running it if it's not in really good shape, because if you plug the combine, you got hours on your hand trying to get it unplugged. And if you keep that belt in good shape, you have stand a way less chance of having to unplug the combine.
What about that big belt right up there?
So this belt right here is one of the main drive belts for the front. You got another drive belt so you can adjust the speed of the feeder house. Another belt dropping down there. Multiple belts right there. You can see that tensioner is perfect. It's got the exact right amount of tension to it.